It's Thursday, June 8th, 2017. It's time for WorthPoint Chats with Harry Rinker. I'm Greg Watkins from WorthPoint.com, and it's time to talk with our expert on all things antiques and collectibles, Harry Rinker. Harry, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I smell better.
You feel better?
No, I smell better.
You smell better. Well,
yes. Well, what happened is, as you know, we're doing a big remodel down here at the condo in Florida. You may notice the junk in the background here is a little different than the junk that normally when we do the show from my home in Kentwood, Michigan. We're totally gutting the kitchen, the bar area, the master bath, ripping up all the old pink tile, putting new tile, getting all new cabinetry work, and also new appliances. But this was the week when they took out all the old tile floor. The sound of jackhammers still rings in my ear. And then they laid the new tile. But the problem is you got to wait 10 hours for the grout, for the underdime before you can walk.
yes.
So when we did the master bathroom, they cut off the shower from me for a couple of days.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yes, but now I'm pleased to say that even though our viewers can't smell me, I'm in better shape than I normally am. Feeling better.
Okay.
Well, now the bad news was that earlier today they cut off the only water I have left in the condo, in the guest bathroom where they were laying new floor. But I think at the time we get done with our show, I can walk in there and get some water. So,
all right.
I won't die of dehydration or something. But anyway, moving forward here, I know it's I'll be in good shape next Wednesday though when we do the next one of these because the appliances are coming, and if all else fails, at least I'll have a refrigerator again.
Oh, that's important.
Well, it is important. I have a little mini one out there, but it doesn't hold very much food. So what can we say? Anyway, no, it's been an interesting experience, and there are weeks of interesting experiences ahead. But speaking of interesting experiences, I had an interesting chat with Dodi Fintel. Dodi Fintel is a show promoter, and for 6 years headed up the Show Promoters Association. And unbeknownst to me, I don't know why I missed it. 3 years ago, there was a big conference on the state of the business in Williamsburg, and Antique Week was there, and just a number of other people, a number of museum people and whatever, but somehow I missed it. I didn't get invited. But anyway, long and the short of it was, we had an interesting discussion. You know, one of the things that we talk about week after week is that endangered collecting categories, categories where the aging collector base is getting less and less and less and less and less, right?
Right.
Well, last week it occurred to me that maybe we have it wrong. Maybe the problem isn't aging collecting categories. Maybe it's the problem of collecting altogether. Maybe collecting as we know it or knew it in the 20th century and early 21st century is gone. Now, I've contended that everybody's a collector, and I still believe that to some extent. But clearly, if you limit collecting to the traditional antiques and collectibles categories, clearly collecting is on the wane big time. Dodi told me an interesting story of her daughter who has a big home and married a gentleman whose parents were in the Foreign Service, and so they had a lot of great stuff. And she grew up, Dodi's house was filled with corner cupboards with spongeware collections, a lot of great antiques and collectibles. And so Dodi's daughter went off, and she just not that interested in this stuff. But she called her mother up and said, "Hey, I think I'd like to collect oil lamps." So her mother bought her one. Why not encourage her to do some little collecting? And then her mother found a second one and bought that for her. And daughter was thrilled to get both of them. And she finally bought her a third one. And the daughter called up and said, "What do you buy the other oil lamp for?" And Dodi said, "I thought you said you wanted to collect them." She says, "Well, I already have two." Well, no, but we need to really sort through that, because collecting isn't about two. I mean, I once wrote a column called Rinker's Rule of 10 that said in order to have a collection, you have at least 10 of something.
Right.
Okay. Well, this was a girl who wanted a collection of 2 of something, and she was perfectly happy with that and didn't need a collection of 10 of something. And, I remember when I first came into the trade back in the 1960s and 70s, I remember going to a guy who collected American pewter plates. He lived outside of Hellertown, Pennsylvania. Bob Lymans was his name. Lived in Lower Saucon Township outside of Hellertown. And he invited me to come see his collection, okay? So I did, and he had about 45. And I said, is this all you got? You know, he says, what do you mean is this all I got? These are 45 American-made pewter plates. I said, yeah, well, don't you have 500 of them? Well, no, this is a big collection. Okay, I'll believe that. Well, then, of course, collectibles came along, and you started getting collections in the thousands. I mean, I had, peak of my jigsaw puzzle, 5,000 jigs, and that wasn't even one of the top 5 collections. I mean, I went and saw toy vehicle collections with thousands upon thousands of toy vehicles, toy train collections. I mean, it was Matchbox collections. I mean, there are guys with thousands of them. And, you know, I mean, that's a collection. And then you begin to realize that, wait a minute, that's what a collection used to be. But how do young people today define a collection? And now I'm getting nervous. If they defined it that a collection is 2 of anything, we're in big trouble. Well, because what happens is, suppose you say, I want to collect oil lamps, but then you go out and buy 2, and the dealer says, oh, you like oil lamps, I'll see if I can find some more for you. Then he finds them, and they say, oh, no, I don't want them, I have enough. And that isn't how dealers go. Dealers need to have some confidence that when they bring stock to an antique show or something, it's going to sell.
Oh, you know, I can understand this, though, because I am interested in something, right? And if I get one, then I'm happy with it because I have one and I can put it in the room and there it is. I don't need to have 10 or 30 or 100.
Well, you're a person. That's what your problem is. What do you mean?
I do not collect. I would like to have, you know, an example of something that is cool, right? An old decoy. My great uncle.
Okay, but let's suppose
decoys. If I had one of theirs, that'd be great. But I don't need 50 decoys.
Okay, but let's say you like cool things. If you have 25 cool things, you have a cool thing collection.
Okay, but they're all going to be different, right?
Yes.
So
I used to have what I called a neat thing collection. I would buy things just because I thought they were neat. And they were all over the place. One was a lamp made out of bamboo, palm tree shrouds. You know, all kinds of weird stuff. When you put them together, and what do you got? You got truly
weird things. Okay, but if they go to your point about antique dealers, if I go and buy a one-off from an antique dealer and he thinks that I collect these, then he's going to buy more and I'm not interested. If I tell him I'm interested in cool things, then maybe he can, you know, we can talk and I can explain what it is that I like, and he can then look for some things.
You don't know if something's cool to you, right?
What's that?
Which goes around. I said, you don't know if something's cool till you see it, which goes around to another beat that I heard on NPR radio today. Now, you know me. I listen and observe, and I draw connections. I heard an interesting comment about the role of preferences in today's society, individual preferences. And the argument was that people group by their preferences. Now, you could say that's why ethnic people live in the same neighborhood, whether they're Lebanese or African American or whatever. People, you know, it's what, let's call it the Cheers phenomenon. I want to go where everybody knows my name. I want to go in a neighborhood where I'm comfortable, right?
Right.
And so that creates segregated neighborhoods. And then we all say, oh, but the point of the article was that they were talking about preferences. And it occurred to me that today, if your individual preference is the guiding determinant in your life, and you're only going to get together with people that have identical preferences to yours, in this day of social media and so many different preferences, no wonder we're such a divided community. You know, in the old days, if people collected pattern glass, they all got together in pattern glass clubs, right, or something like that. But there was a bigger definition of preference than there is today. Today, maybe people who collect moon and star pattern get together on the internet, but who else does? You know, we don't let people who collect Rosetta pattern in our group. And this whole thing about individual preference is the article that described it said that it's determining how you lead your life. That the minute you get locked into these social preferences, you don't have the ability to explore and look for other fun things to do. And I haven't quite made up my mind how all this relates to the antiques and collectibles trade, but it does. And I'll figure it out. And there will be a Rinker on Collectibles column on it, obviously, as there will be a Rinker on Collectibles column on some of this other stuff too. Because, you know, that's what I think my value in the trade is. I write these columns. And by the way, I have to get a plug-in for this. I write a weekly column called Rinker on Collectibles. You know that. In fact, a lot of them appear in the WorthPoint newsletter, right?
Right.
Yeah. But people can go onto my website, harryrinker.com, and click on Rinker under Collectibles and read them. It's the even-numbered columns that are that. I just wrote column 1,593 this week. Whew. Getting up there, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. Well, anyway, got an interesting email in. This one, a fascinating one. A picker, who I know very well, went out to an estate sale. Now, his wife stays at home, and he goes shopping, and then he comes back with stuff, and she always tells him he paid too much. So he bought this rather neat-looking umbrella stand called a Jack Tar umbrella stand. He paid $60 for it. Okay, can we show the picture of it here? There it is. It's a nautical theme umbrella stand, and here you can see Jack Tar in the back in a naval uniform, and then there's the holder for the umbrellas, and then down below is the anchors and all the other nautical theme stuff. And look, nice rope there and all. It's just beautiful kind of thing. Now, okay, so he got it for $60, and the wife is furious at him because she thinks he overpaid. But then she does some research work on the net, right?
Right.
And she finds now I have to say we have to start by, you know, one of these things is I need to give everybody all the information. This is located in Michigan at the moment, all right?
Right.
So the thing is that the wife goes up on the internet, does some research work, and found that Skinner sold two of them. One for $1,100 that was broken in several parts and badly repaired. Now, what are we doing there?
This is the Skinner listing.
Oh, that's a Skinner listing.
Yeah, it sold for $1,185.
Yeah, but it was damaged, apparently, heavily damaged. And there was a second Skinner one that sold for about $1,800, and that also was rusted. There it is.
Right. Maybe the rusted plate there at the bottom.
Right. So, but anyway, I mean, but here they are in bad condition. They're bringing over $1,000. And the one that we looked at was pretty nice. You know, didn't seem to have any damage, but we'll get to the bit what's missing it. But then Sotheby's, Christie's sold one in New York. Did you get that one too? Yep. $5,000, $5,400 for it. Wow. So, you know, somehow $60 doesn't seem real bad, does it?
No.
So now there comes a lot of interesting questions. So here's this guy in Michigan that says, wow, I paid $60 for this thing, and I'm seeing sales of $1,000, you know, between $1,000 and $2,000, and one for $5,400. I've got a treasure. But the first thing you have to do when you're looking at auction prices is you have to realize that these prices you see, like the $5,400, that's not what the consignor got. That price includes the buyer's penalty, anywhere from 50 to 20%. The auctioneer's commission, maybe 15 to 20%. And all the hidden charges of selling it at auction, the picture, the insurance, the shipping, whatever. I mean, could the buyer have gotten out of it maybe $3,500 to $4,000, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. But that's still a lot more than $60, right?
Right. Now the other thing to consider is that this one at Christie sold in 2007. So
yes. Well, wait a minute. You're beating me to the punch here.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
No, you won't. That was a good point to raise, because one of the questions you always have to ask when you look using any price guide or you're using anything like this is, when did it sell, right? 2007. That's 10 years ago. And who's to say the market's still there today, right?
Right. The Skinner.
How about the Christie sale?
2011 for the $1,800 one, and 2012 for the $1,200 one.
Okay, so guess
5 years away.
How do we know that?
5 years ago.
How do we know? How do we know this one isn't? So here's the situation. All right. So, but the one that sold for that amount of money, right, you still have to take 30-40% off. So he got about $800 for it. Now, so whenever you're evaluating auction prices, you got to make all these adjustments to get to the real value of it to the consignor. The other thing is, as you said, you got to start asking questions. When was it sold? The other question is, where were they sold? Both of these were sold along the Atlantic coast, right? They were both along the Atlantic coast in New England and the Mid-Atlantic states, right?
That's right. So where there is a
the price there is very different than the price that's going to be in Michigan.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now you don't know the circumstances of it either. You don't know, for example, that $5,400 Christie one, was that in a specialized sale? Was it from a private folk art or private collector whose name added credence to the sale?
It looks like it was in a maritime sale.
In a maritime sale. Yes, it was. So guess what? There at Jack's price again.
Yes.
No pun intended relationship to the name of the statue with Jack Tar one. But how do we know that not only was it a maritime sale, but there were two members from opposing sides of the family that were determined that the other one wouldn't get it, so they bid up until one of them finally collapsed, which happens more than you know at auctions.
Yes.
So you have to take all these auction prices with an enormous interpretive value, and that's why just blindly looking at prices. Well, you know, the problem with seeing three prices, 1,100, 1,800, 5,400, guess which one this guy has in his mind?
The 54.
Yeah, you're darn right he does. So, but the other, it's missing its strip pan. You know, if you look at the one here, you'll notice it on the, there, you see the hole in the bottom there. There was a metal drip pan that fit in there. Now, it wasn't very good. The guy said, well, should I have it made to, before I sell it? And I said, no, let the new owner do it. And he said, well, why would you do that? Because there you can see the drip pan's all rusted. See it?
Yeah.
So you know what it looks like. Why wouldn't you? Why would I argue that it should be replaced? Well, here's the deal. If you're looking at a piece and you see that something's been replaced, right? What's the first thing you're going to think? I saw this repair. Which ones am I not seeing? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to take this. So far, this piece looks really good, right? Nice period piece.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that why challenge it? Why challenge it? Now, I looked at it real closely, and it's obviously not reproduced, because who would reproduce something like this? But the thing about it is, it's in really great shape. It may have been re-blackened at once or twice during its life, but it doesn't have white paint on it or green paint on it or anything like that. It's in fabulous condition, as far as I'm concerned. So why do anything to it that might suggest that something else was done, but you're not seeing it, right?
Yes.
So yes. So then the guy says, well, you know, what should I do with it? Well, first of all, he's got to get it to the East Coast. It's got to go to, say, James Julia in Maine, or Skinner in Massachusetts, or Doyle Galleries in New York would be the logical ones. Now its value, they're not. Here's the name of the game. There aren't 100 umbrella stand collectors out there. I don't know if there's one. So the answer is that its real value is its pizzazz or wow or decorative or conversation value, whatever value you want, but collecting value it ain't. On the other hand, going to WorthPoint, right?
That's right.
That's right. Lo and behold, this is not a one-of-a-kind guy.
No, we've got 5 of them. Yeah.
So we found 5 of them, and do we have them in date order?
Yes.
All right, so let's look at the first one there.
Okay, the most recent sale sold on eBay for $750.
Yeah, well, now this is starting to sound more like my kind of thing, right?
Right.
But that was in 2013, and that's still 4 years difference.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
All right.
That's we have.
That was 750. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we'll back it up here.
Yeah.
In 2013, a month before that, it sold for $350.
A similar one. Yeah, but that one looks funny. It looks like it's got extra rope or something on this side. What's going on?
It's a shadow.
Oh, it's a shadow. How unfortunate.
Looks like it's on
really
the
looks a lot neater than the other ones, though.
Yeah.
All right, but it looks like it's got some condition issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the other three, about $300 in December of 12,
Yeah.
$363 at Bertoya auctions.
The toy auction in Pennsylvania, and that's where it doesn't belong. Okay, that's right. Well, the interesting thing about it is look at those prices. So what would based on what would you say a fair market price is? $500, $500 to $700. That's not what this guy's thinking. Trust me.
Right.
Now,
if he paid 60, he should be happy if he can get.
Well, if he paid 60 and he got 600, that's 1,000% profit. Reed is
That's pretty good.
the green-eyed monster in the antiques and collectible business, unfortunately. But the other side of this, though, is that the other alternative is to send it to Heritage Galleries in Dallas, Texas. Now, Heritage Galleries, one of the top galleries here in the States, has really got a strong reputation for this type of stuff. And even though it's not on the East Coast, I talked to them. I advised them to talk to them as well. Okay. Oh, what is that thing?
Well, looks like it's a listing out of a Skinner catalog that identifies it from 1927 Marcy Foundry. So it's not
19th century. Oh, that's even more interesting.
Yeah. But whenever this particular item was listed,
where was that? Where did you find that?
This is on one of the WorthPoint Worthopedia listings. Somebody who sold it on eBay found this on the internet and added it to their sales photo.
All right, now Harry's you have to leave that out there for a second, because I'm going to make a note. 1927 Mercy Foundry, right?
Marcy, Marcy.
Marcy Foundry. Does it say where?
No.
Well, I'll do some homework on that. All right. That sounds like fun. All right. Anyway, that'll be fun thing to reference. Well, so that was these things raise all kinds of questions, and boy, oh boy, it goes back once again where even when you look at prices on WorthPoint, you got to be an interpreter of this stuff. You've got to look around. Now, I have to tell you one thing. From an antique perspective, that 1927 date changes everything, because as you saw, almost all the listings said 19th century, right?
Yeah. 19th century, and that's the Christie's listing. So unless there was an original made and then Marcy copied it.
Absolutely not. No way.
Okay. You don't think that's a possibility? So then Christie's just
that would be highly. Oh, the mighty Christie's has struck out again. You like the pun there?
I love that.
Yeah, well, that was that pun cost Christie's Christie was once a big sports auction house at one point in the late 80s, and they had a big baseball collection, and it didn't do well. And the headlines in the trade papers were "The mighty Christie's had struck out," and that was one of the last sports auctions they ever did. Hey, you put your neck on the line, you better be prepared.
That's right.
Anyway, enough of all that silliness. All right. So that's it. Getting back to things. I've read two articles this week. Obviously, they're going to be the subject of my column as well. One of the articles, there's a woman that wrote a book about divesting of stuff. And she's got a good PR agent. And they put 6 things your children don't want. Made a list of 6 things, right?
Right. Lists.
And I'm not going to talk about what they are. But then I just got this article from Dodi Fidel, who sent me this advice for baby boomers desperate to unload family heirlooms, and it goes through a whole bunch of stuff here too. Now, it's 8 groups of furnishings nobody wants here as well. Well, anyway, long and the short of it is this: I have decided I need to do a top 10 list of things children grandchildren don't want from their parents and grandparents' house. So here's the deal. When we put up the how can you send us information, I'm going to say we're going to do 2 things. We're going to put that up right now. And, we'd love to have you email us with some pictures and stuff that you have. community@worthpoint.com is the address we want you to use for that. If you have a question you want us to talk about on the air and so forth. But I am going to give out my email too tonight. Not that we don't want you to send everything to community@worthpoint.com as it relates to the WorthPoint chats, we do. But I am interested to know if you had to put together a list of 10 things that you think your children and grandchildren won't want from your home or your parents' home, send it to me. And my email is simply my name, Harry L. Rinker, HarryLrinker, Harry L. Rinker @AOL.com. I want to know what people think here before I go put my list together. Although my list is unfortunately hasn't stopped at 10. It's into about 20, but I have to figure out how to prioritize it. But I'll tell you, I'll share with you one of the things that was on the list that I read, and that was Persian rugs. Now, let me just ask you, how many Persian rugs do you have in your house?
I don't have any, but I'd like one or two.
Yeah, well, how many Persian rugs do your parents have in their house?
My parents don't have any.
That's right.
That's why I don't have them.
But so this is what happens when people who live in big cities write lists like this, because they have a big city mentality. I didn't have any Persian rugs in my house either. And if my family would have earned a Persian rug, it would have been made on the TJ Maxx looms.
Right.
And in fact, we have a couple of Persian things here in the hallway that are TJ Maxx. But hey, by the way, I do have, this is a little show and tell here on the show. Hang in there a minute. I have a Afghanistani rug.
Okay.
You probably don't know about these, right?
No, I actually do know a little bit about them.
Yeah, no, let's see. We check out on WorthPoint here, but let me get back far enough and show you my wonderful Afghanistani war rug with all the bazookas and the tanks and the. What do you think?
That's more detailed than the ones I've seen. Ones that I've seen have had the AK-47s woven into the patterns.
This is bombs, grenades, and tanks and Kalashnikovs and all kinds of great stuff. Yeah, nice one, isn't it? I walk over that every day into my office just down here in Florida just to remind myself how lucky I was I didn't have to go. But anyway, but now let's see what we can find on WorthPoint here. No, I have a friend who's an Oriental rug dealer, and he turned me on to those, and I was thrilled that he did. I want to acquire one or two more here, but let's see what. Well, that doesn't look like an Oriental Afghani war rug to me there on the right.
That's a rug.
Oh, wait a minute! Did that have the Ayatollah and the whole crew there? Oh, there's one. Oh, look at that.
35,000 Afghanistan rugs in the Worthopedia.
No. Well, then you better put Afghanistani war rug.
Well, look at this one.
That's nice.
Yep.
How much did that go for?
Well, this is the most recent one that sold, and it sold for $375.
Yeah, and that's probably new, and that's about right for that. Oh, no, it's good size. Much bigger than mine. That's a nice price for that one. I may have to start watching this stuff.
So,
all right, you got a couple more coming down there. Oh, there's another one.
Another one in that same sort of style for $250.
Yeah, smaller one. That's about the size that I have. Yeah. Wow, they're fun. Who doesn't want one of those, right?
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna move up here to categories, and I'm gonna reduce it down to textiles.
Oh, all right.
If that
see what happens there.
It knocks out all the extra things. All right. So now we're down to 32,000.
Only 32,000, huh?
And these look like these are the rugs. So we're not going to get any cross matching with keywords.
Yeah, but those look more like Asian carpets as opposed to the war rugs. Do you still have war rugs in the title?
Now let me put war up there.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. I've been working with 500. Now you're going to get them, right?
All right. So is this one like this is the one?
Oh, wait a minute. There's one that looks like mine. My date is 2002, but there's 2003. $59. That's a lot less than I paid. I should be watching this stuff here. Really?
This looks very close to the one that you have.
It is. It is very almost identical, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Wow. And what's the next one over? Well, maybe I need to start watching eBay for this.
All right. So this one says 2000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's 33 by 23. And then it looks like they're just changing the date on a lot of these. Here's a 2001.
Oh, I wonder if it didn't sell through.
Right, the date on the rug is changed now. It's 2001 instead of 2002 or 2000.
Well, that's interesting. Wonder if they got a machine that's knocking them out.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Have to look into that. I did like the big blue one, though. That was neat. All right. Well, enough of all this. We got sidetracked, but we got to share some fun stuff. Oh, there you are. Look at that. 7 and a runner.
Yeah.
And what did that bring?
300.
You know what? And again, why are we doing this, you may ask, besides the fact that I'm inanely curious about it? Well, the answer is...
Got one, and we wanted to see what...
No. We're doing this because this shows how specialized people get. And, you know, we were talking about this preferences and stuff. But it also, I bought mine from a dealer, and I didn't overpay as far as I'm concerned from a dealer. And it's a good quality one. But I will tell you what, I think I'm gonna have to, if I want another one, I'm gonna have to go searching on eBay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna say goodnight because I got access to water again and I can go make myself a cup of hot tea.
All right.
All righty. Well, we'll do this next Wednesday or try our best to do it next Wednesday. We were hoping to do it yesterday, but some things came up. And if we're not on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, check for us on Thursdays, right?
That's right. So we'll do next Wednesday. And until then,
I promise you that next week we will get to the clock you've been trying to push on me for weeks.
Well, it's just in the queue.
All right.
So until next week, we'll just say good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Harry.